what the whole thing is about, I can, like, from my own experience, especially from King of the Streets, I got beaten up there. Whenever you get beaten up, just keep fucking going. Like, and that, I think that's about any parts of life. Pain's compulsory, suffering's optional. That's how it is.
Guys, how's it going? It's Joseph from the Heretic Chronicles. Today, I got a fire guest, a straight up barbarian. Um, Go ahead and introduce yourself, my friend.
What's up, everybody? My name is Donovan. I believe a lot of people would know me from King of the Streets organization in Europe. Otherwise, I fight MMA. 20 years old, come from Denmark. Yeah,
All right, brother, let's jump into it, man. So tell everybody, man, like where are you from? What country were you born in?
I'm from Copenhagen, Denmark. I'm born here, raised here. Uh, yeah, I have a family that's half English, half Danish, but I've more or less always just stayed to being in Denmark, being in Copenhagen.
All right, man. So growing up in Denmark, were you getting into a lot of fights on the streets? Like, how was your childhood growing up over there?
Denmark is an extremely peaceful country. I have basically never been in a fight in my life, rather or neither in the streets or organized or anything. There's nothing violent about the country, or it's basically not an option to fight. Then you really have to be unlucky here. You choose yourself. It's a sport. It's not. We don't really have that bad neighborhoods or anything. So fighting is in the streets is not a thing here, really.
Okay, okay. All right. So, growing up, what martial arts were you, training in? Did you start off in jiu-jitsu, kickboxing? How did you start? When did you start?
I started off quite late. I found out really about. I remember watching Francis Ngannou when I was 15 years old, and I thought I need to get myself into doing MMA. This guy, he's incredible. And same event, I think Darren Till fought,
Okay.
and those two guys really they inspired me to start. I had a talk with my mom about, like, hey, I want to do some martial arts. She said, no way in hell you're gonna do that.
Hmm.
Then I came, like, I think at the end of like 16 years old, and then I started doing a little bit of boxing, but it wasn't proper boxing. It was just with some mates, really. And
Oh,
when I finally enrolled in a martial arts gym, started out with like MMA training, and then Brazilian Jiu Jitsu on the side. So Brazilian Jiu Jitsu has been like my main go to. I come from a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu gym, I would say. Most of our fighters are wrestling or Jiu Jitsu fighters. So yeah, that's like my go to martial art.
when did you realize, like 100%, like this is what you wanted to do? Like what age, basically?
I think I got an interest for it when I was like 15, and then I think I found out, okay, I actually have a chance at this, and I think I'm good, and I definitely think I've got the mentality for being able to compete. Was around like 17 years old, because that was when I first, like Mike Tyson says, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face. Like, I finally got punched in the face and then knew I could take it. So then it was just from there on, let's keep training, let's keep going, let's see what happens.
Okay, okay. So, bring me into like into your daily life. Like, what's a normal day of training look like for you?
A normal day of training. Well, right now I'm on like recovery for it, so it's going better. I've got a small injury in my knee. I've got a meniscus tear. that I need to do something about. So wrestling is quite hard for me. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is quite hard for me. I can do stand-up striking, Muay Thai, boxing, whatever, no problems. It's just small twists in like the wrestling part of MMA that I can't do right now. Um, so basically, a normal day without the injury, in doing an beginner's level MMA course or striking course first. That's like an hour. After that, we would do like the fighting team at my gym, like a more experienced guys would have a more experienced MMA session, and then finish off the evening with like 1.5 hours Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So that would be like a day would be 4.5 hours training. But right now, it's not really possible always with my knee. So I just need to get over this, and then we'll get back to normal training.
What's your favorite post workout meal, if you
Oh,
have one?
favorite post workout meal. Yeah, uh, I would say there's two ways about it. You can either be either it can be after a workout. That would just I'm gonna say something like a big nasty burger or some like a lot of calories, and it's not
Okay,
good for you in any
okay,
way. But
okay.
there's something about after you've made weight that's different. Then I would say like maybe some rice, some chicken, like before you have to fight. You just made weight. You get to eat something for the first time in like 2 days or whatever. Then just a simple meal: rice, chicken, maybe some broccoli in there or some vegetables.
Okay, okay, that's interesting. All right, man. Let's bring everybody back up to speed here. How did you get in contact with King of the Streets? Like, how did you even get? How did you even fight there? Break down the whole experience.
So the King of the Streets adventure, I want to call it, started by me reaching out to them. There's a page or an app, you could say, called Telegram
Telegram. Okay.
that exactly that you can write to them, and that's how they prefer. Also today, you can write to them on Instagram, and they'll just send you to Telegram anyways. So Telegram is the way to get in touch with them. I wrote to them. I said my age. They want the adult fighters, which is 18 here, at least in Sweden, where the fights are being held. I wrote to them my fighting experience was, well, at that point in time wasn't very big, and I said I wanted to have a fight, and my how much I weigh and my age, my height, all my like options,
Yeah.
uh, uh, and um, and they wrote back to me that I didn't have the required amount of experience for me to being able to fight there. So I wrote back to them saying, find a guy that's got the right amount of experience. I don't care. I want to fight anyways. It turned out there was some guy, the guy I ended up fighting, that had the same mentality as me, and we both said like, "Fuck it, let's do it." And they gave us the fight. So we were lucky and got the fight.
Yeah, man. So basically, if y'all have not watched that fight, I'm gonna go ahead and leave the link in the description of this video. I'm not even joking. Not even putting on a facade. That was probably one of the best fights I've ever seen in my entire life. It was an awesome fight, man. And considering how fucking dangerous it is, and considering, you're fighting on essentially concrete in a cage surrounding you. I mean, I wouldn't even really call it a cage, but you get my point. It's the rebar, whatever the hell you want to call it. You guys are basically fucking fighting like gladiators, and God forbid someone gets knocked out and hits the floor and hits the concrete. I can only imagine what the scenes of that whole entire thing looks like. But yeah, man, it was an awesome fight. It was brutal. You came out the winner, obviously. After the fight, like, what was the recovery looking like? What type of injuries did you sustain during the fight?
So to start off with, I was just like, I knew my opponent was going to be a better like stand-up guy than me. I knew he had a lot of boxing experience. He had a very good jab, and quite quickly in the fight, like two or three jabs in, He had just completely busted my left eye up. I couldn't see out my left eye, and I just wanted to wrestle, which didn't work out like the first 2-3 minutes of the fight. So I had to throw a couple of like overhands to set up some punching to do my wrestling. And the first punch I threw, I broke, I believe the bone is called the metacarp in my right hand. So that was the first punch I threw like a minute into the fight that landed straight in his forehead. Broke my metacarp in the hand. Then I broke my nose. I had to get stitches in my lip. I had uh, I have scars on my nose and I have scars within my eyebrows from big open wounds. And what else? Oh yeah, because of that thing in my eye, like for 2-3 months, I didn't tell anybody about this whilst I was in recovery. But I kept seeing like black things out my left eye, like just black shadows in front of me for like 2-3 months. It's completely gone now. My eye, my vision, everything is fine. But I remember sitting in hospital. I had to close my right eye, and the doctor's telling me, "Can you read out loud with your left eye?" And I couldn't see it. Like I just straight up lied to him and like figured something out.
So wow, man, that's brutal. Obviously you're, feeling a lot better now. You look, I know you just had a fight, what, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Obviously,
two
I'm
weeks
sure you
ago, yeah.
didn't. Yeah, I'm sure you didn't, take too much punishment in that, man. So you healed up just fine. Um, yeah, man. So basically, like, for the rest of this year, what's 2023 looking like for you?
So because of my knee injury, the next thing in line is actually having a doctor's appointment in next week or the week after. I can't remember. And I just need to check if I need surgery or not. If not, then I'm gonna take some time with a physiotherapist trying to get my knee up to strength to be able to compete in MMA. But if it's the case, then I need to take the time out, get my knee sorted, and then come back and compete in MMA. My last fight was Thai boxing or Muay Thai. I've never done that before. It's not my sport. I really enjoyed the experience, but I want to do MMA, and I'm a wrestler, so I need to get this sorted out and then fight again.
Yeah, so basically, we've been talking for a couple months, man. I know that one of the first things I think I asked you was, "Hey, you're gonna keep on fighting with King of the Streets and whatnot," and you basically said, "In your country, they cracked down on you over the fight, and they basically told you, hey, man, you better not fight here again, or we might take away your license or legal issues." I don't know, but essentially, if you can, man, just dive into that real quick. Why can't you
Yeah,
go
so
back?
of course. So after the fight, uh, I hadn't told anyone except for one guy that I was going to fight there, basically. And he went with me to the event. When we came back, we had posted on our social media, and he followed by a lot of the guys that are in what's basically the Danish MMA Federation. And they decided that they didn't want any of the Danish MMA competitors to fight in King of the Streets. So they gave us they started off by telling us basically a lifetime ban, but
Yeah.
we said, hey, you've never told us that this wasn't legal for your federation. So they ended up giving us 6 months ban, which was due to COVID. Didn't mean anything to us because there was no events being held in Denmark anyways during COVID. So those 6 months were just, there were no events to compete in anyways. But it was like it was to make a statement. They made a big public statement saying any Danish MMA fighters, if you fight in King of the Streets, you will never be able to fight in Danish MMA Federation again.
Wow, man, that's that's crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
you put on a war though. I mean, like I said, it's one of the best fights that I've ever seen. I mean, it was bloody. It was crazy. Brother, if you can, man, give us some wisdom. Send us off on a good note, man, if you can for us.
Of course. I mean, what the whole thing is about, I can like from my own experience, especially from King of Streets, I got beaten up there. Whenever you get beaten up, just keep fucking going. Like, and that I think that's about any part of life. Pain's compulsory, suffering's optional. That's how it is.
Gotta do a mic drop real quick. That was pretty cool, man. No, seriously. All right, brother. Well, it was awesome talking to you. It was months in the making. We finally got it done. You know, before your next fight, you know, hopefully we'll talk again, you know, promote it and do the whole entire thing. So, Storm, it was an
Perfect.
absolute pleasure, brother. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you.